Welcome to Epilogue Podcast, the show where we discuss some stuff that happened on a different show ages ago which nobody really cares about anymore.
Hi, I'm Portponky.
And I'm LeBloc.
Today we're discussing Farscape, Season 3, Episode 17, The Choice. Aaron, while still mourning John, gets involved in a strange deception by Xalax.
Gasp, she's still alive.
Yeah, you called that.
That was an easy call.
It was fairly easy.
Never trust an off-screen death.
So does that mean she's still alive?
I hope not. That would be really cheap. She should be dead.
She comes back all flat. I think she can be really dead here because she surrendered.
Right, there's no reason for her to come back. She would come back and say, oh yeah, I don't have unfinished business, and then die again.
She has completed her character arc. By the way, how did you find this episode?
I thought it was alright. I liked the makeup a lot on the aliens. It was really good and grotesque and creepy. And just the setting was nice that we get this different Blade Runner city.
I will never get tired of Blade Runner style cities. Every time there's a Blade Runner-esque, huge, massive city with traffic flying through the air and you can't see the ground because the buildings are so huge. That's it.
Plenty of flashing lights.
Yeah, that's me sold. I love that stuff. I really like the sets.
Sets are really good here.
Previously on the episode Scratch and Sniff, we had to go at the weird set choices, which were, we think, deliberately weird. Here the sets all fit together really well stylistically, and there's graffiti everywhere. You don't see that kind of weird, dilapidated, rundown kind of look very often.
When you do, it's often too clean looking.
This had it right. It really looks like a functional but rundown sort of squalor. I felt the plot in this episode was really weird.
I did too. I kept waiting for it to make more sense, but then it never really did. But then I really liked the sets and the makeup, so then that kind of carried me through. And at the end, I wasn't wholly satisfied because I didn't understand the journey, so the ending didn't work for me.
I pretty much agree. I think the strength of Claudia Black's performance as Aaron was able to carry the episode, and a lot of the emotional scenes were pretty emotional. And in that sense, it worked. I can't figure out what Xalax was going for. What was her plan?
I can't tell you. I didn't know.
What she was doing made very little sense for most of the episode. It seemed like her plan was to convince Aaron that this con man was her dad, and then kill her dad in front of her.
Yeah.
Why was he going along with it?
He didn't know he was going to die. Wasn't even sure that he did die when she shot him, because you see his eyes still open. I realized you could die with your eyes open, but it made me think, oh, did they set this up? And so those are squibs in his back or something. But no, he died, and it's confusing.
I had the same thought, and then I followed it up with that everyone Xalax has worked with, she has killed. So how does she get people to work with her?
Because no one can leave her a bad Yelp review because they're dead.
Okay. She's thorough then, I guess.
You look her up, and there are exclusively good reviews. Or I guess none.
There's nothing, yeah. She's been a member for like 25 years, no reviews.
I thought it was strange when she talked about amputating her leg, but then you don't. There's no reveal. She doesn't lift up her pant leg or anything, and she walks fine, and her legs look the same. I thought that was weird to bring that up and then not confirm it in any way.
Especially given this show's ability to do good practical effects, that was out of place. Why did she amputate her leg anyway?
I don't remember. Something about being trapped.
This is something we have no connection to because it happened off screen, not during any episode, and whilst we thought the character was dead. And then we don't get to see the results of it.
So why bother at all?
Maybe it wasn't amputated. She's just trying to hurt Aaron.
Aaron has a specific complex that's triggered when she thinks she caused someone to amputate his or her leg.
I don't think that's strange. Most people would probably get a bit anxious about that having happened.
But it's enhanced in her.
I don't buy it. There's no reason for her to say that she had to amputate her leg. It's just weird. The episode was already pretty emotionally tense. I felt I was grasping when it didn't need to be.
Another thing that didn't pay off for me was Zan's voice echoing. I think that's supposed to go along with all the other weird visions and the abilities that people have in that town. But I wanted more of a payoff than just, oh, here's more evidence of other stuff you're seeing.
Stark left, though.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. So there's the payoff, and I'm silly. That was a huge surprise. I wouldn't have guessed Stark would abruptly leave.
He comes and goes. He has left the crew 2 other times. Once mysteriously and once due to getting dispersed.
So now he's walking around with a shiny face.
Maybe he has more than one of these. I mean, I guess he has to get it washed sometimes. So he probably has a couple. Well, by Stark, he left his mask for Moya John.
So he can finally cosplay as Stark.
A dream that Ben Browder does achieve in Stargate SG-1.
I'll take your word for that. Oh, here's another thing I thought was weird about this episode. So the four-eyed seer thing, which was really cool.
Yeah, that was sweet.
After
Total Recall style vibe from that.
Yeah, that's inescapable. Once we see the little John vision hologram above his head, all right. He stays in the room. He's in that little pod, and it just stays there the rest of the episode. He hangs out in Aaron's room. That's weird.
I'm glad he popped out at the end, because
Yeah.
you see the pod, and you're like, is that guy still there? He's just chilling out in his little pod thing. Also, was that guy's name Creases?
I don't know. I missed it.
I think it was Seer Creases. Seer being his job. The vision of John also said something weird.
Bring me back to life.
Isn't that a song by Evanescence?
I wouldn't know.
They all seemed like con men.
Even Bleeding Eyes guy?
He was a con man.
Oh, right.
He got stabbed as well. They don't seem to care about murder very much in this city.
They have bigger problems.
You're not wrong, they do. Speaking of bigger problems, I like how the hotel sort of concierge guy asked them if they want to buy dead bodies. It's funny and it sets the tone really well.
Good excuse for a cameo of that one alien race.
Diagnosing.
There you go.
Which I like. I like that they had a diagnosing. That was really cool.
It makes a lot of sense.
Repeatedly doing one and done aliens is bad. It damages the believability of everything if every alien is unique every time. So it's good that they had a diagnosing kicking about. And he wasn't even part of the episode, he was just there purchasing dead guys, as you do.
They could conceivably only run into unique aliens, but that's not good for a TV show. It makes it feel really disconnected from episode to episode. So you could possibly argue for more unique aliens, but I prefer to have recurring aliens here and there, just to remind me, hey, we're building this world on itself and not just doing whatever. We're respecting what we've done in the past.
It's world building to have the same things occur. And yeah, you can do unique most of the time. It's just if you do it all the time, it feels really shallow. I mean, Star Trek has this problem. Every week they meet some rando dudes from some planet that have some mild variation on what a human is. For example, they have an extra mouth instead of a left eyebrow or something. And it gets a bit tiring because none of those guys ever turn up again. That the regular aliens are just a one small set, and then every other guy is some randomer. And that's fine. You can have the regular set and the randoms, but you need to bridge the gap between them by having certain guys turn up again just because there's more than one of them. Although the diagnosing here was played by the same guy that played the diagnosing before.
I need you to clear something up for me.
Okay. Is it where did those guys shooting everyone in the lobby come from and where did they go?
No, but let's get back to that. In the episode where John and Aaron grow old together, how did that episode end?
That episode ended with time resetting, and then Aaron had the locket and she prized it open, but the inside had turned to dust. And Zan and Stark said, "Oh, the timelines are sealed up, I guess." None of that really happened, but maybe secretly we can remember it. But we can't. But now they can. Or she kind of can. I thought it was a good one to use because that episode was not great, but it's good they're getting a little bit more mileage out of it so it doesn't feel like such a waste.
I didn't know what to make of the return of old John because I thought that was erased out of existence. But as I mentioned earlier, that could be lumped in with, hey, weird things happen here.
I have no idea why they picked that episode in particular. It was a touching John and Aaron episode, if it was anything. But it's a weird choice. Maybe it's just because it's a fairly distinct one and the old John makeup's quite easy to do.
That's a romantic idea too, growing old together for decades. So they could borrow that.
Yeah, which she doesn't get to do. So those guys in the lobby.
Right. Back to those guys.
No idea. I guess Zalix paid a bunch of dudes to get shot by Stark and he 1v-alled them.
I guess.
And then Krace is dieharding people in the corridor. They're shooting him too for some reason. Even though they were just a bunch of sexy homeless refugees earlier.
It was the shooting hour.
It's just the purge.
Yeah,
Everyone grabs a gun.
bad timing.
It's a really weird ending scene. I think the point was so that Grace can run in and shoot Zalix right at the point where she learns to regret her life. But it's just such a confusing setup.
They needed him bursting in, frantic, and ready at the trigger.
That could have happened if they just said, yeah, Zalix went up to the room.
Chris would probably be more calm in that scenario and not so quick to shoot her. Maybe, I don't know. He didn't kill her in the first place.
Because he was handcuffed.
No, on the when he was supposed to have executed her.
Oh.
So he has a record of not killing her.
He made the deal then, but he's not completely daft. If Zalix is going to Aaron's room to presumably assassinate her, he would run in with a gun. He likes
Yeah.
it. He likes Aaron.
As she pointed out.
Yeah, that got pretty dark. Rigel was surprisingly reasonable in this entire episode.
You sound so surprised.
He's normally a complete jerk, but here he's actually quite sympathetic.
It's the return of Rigel the secret hero.
He had real empathy for Aaron and actually good advice.
That could all be a front just to get off that planet, which we know Rigel wants to do. It was convincing, though.
So you're saying he can be nice and good, just he only does that when it directly serves his purpose? I don't know, I didn't get that vibe when he was flying around outside the building.
Oh, I didn't get that vibe either, but it's Rigel, and so that's how I interpret all of his actions.
So you're saying he's pulling the wool over our eyes as well?
Maybe. It didn't feel that way, and the show didn't present it that way, but that I could easily see that.
You could be right. I mean, helping someone through the grief is probably the fastest way to get out of there. So, is this going to come down to a humanities argument where there's no unselfish action?
Only reaction?
No, I mean, all actions you take are at their core based on self-advancement.
Sorry, I couldn't resist saying something really daft.
Yeah, okay. I guess if we're getting to that point, then are we just trying to tarnish Rigel? He can't be nice. It's all self-serving.
Who are we to judge?
I think he was just in a good mood and being helpful.
Does that sound like Rigel to you?
Maybe he grieves by not being such a dick. Perhaps. I like how all the crew were suffering from John's death, not just Aaron. Stark was completely unhinged.
That's his typical state, though. Atypical state.
He was more than usual, though. Aaron called him out on it. There's a little hint at the end that they might track down Moya.
They definitely will. You can't say that and then remain separated.
It is approaching the end of the season. It's episode 17 out of 22, so only 5 episodes to go.
If they don't reunite before the end of this season, that's crazy. I can't believe that would happen.
The double John's thing and developing the John-Aaron relationship, then killing him off, that seems like a seasonal arc.
It sets up some great tension. if you reunite Moya, John, and Aaron, she has this history with a version of John, and then that one's dead, and then there's this other one, but he has different memories. That's so strange and unique to sci-fi, and I'm very happy they set that up, and I want to see what they do with it, because that's really weird, and you can't experience that.
Things are complicated. Do you have a quote from this episode?
Was it easy to be a hero? Leave me behind? You never think you're gonna die. I didn't know.
I like that. There's a line that I use, which is not from anything, but I find it very funny. It's probably not funny. Where I say, in terms of my life, I'm the protagonist. But characters do think that way. You don't think, oh, I'll peg it.
No, because that's a surefire way to screw up whatever you're doing.
Even if the chances suck, you think, well, I'll do it, I'll make it. Just gotta do it right. You don't think, oh, I'm not gonna make it, oh well, I guess I'll do the plan anyway. I mean, probably in some situations you get soldiers who jump on grenades to save their units, and that is like a crazy level of heroism. But I think that's the exception. Most people, even when doing dangerous things, I agree, they don't think they're going to die. Like, criminals don't think they're going to get caught. They commit stupid crimes and they think, well, I'll get away with it.
I'll be the exception.
Yeah, I'll do it because it's me. I'm the protagonist. I can do it.
The protagonist always wins. Unless it's Farscape and you got twinned.
Yeah. Makes me think, what other heroes from history bravely pegged it, but actually just didn't think they were gonna. They thought they were gonna do it, but they didn't. Let's go on to the next episode.
Okay.
Is that a wrap then?
It's wrapped.
Excellent.